What's going on, everybody? It's your main man, Sentinel, and welcome to Kingsway Entertainment. Today we have top 10 superheroes who have to hold back their power by Top 10 Nerd. And the first one I'm seeing is Clark's bitch ass. Now, I know I wear the same symbol as him, but it stands for two different things between me and him. I ain't gonna lie, I was just too lazy to make my own symbol. The S was already out there, and his legal team be after my ass. But when Clark wears it, it's a symbol of hope and inspiration. You see this on me, it's a symbol of stomp your ass out. But we're going to continue with this.
Being more powerful as a hero is
Sprinkle a little petty on it,
right? You'd think so. But with some
Fuck the
superheroes,
Hulk
the
too.
full force of their powers could threaten the lives of those around them, themselves, and for some, could be a threat to the very existence of the universe. Welcome back, Nerd Squad. I'm your host, Amanda. Which superheroes do you think are dangerously overpowered? What do you think is the most OP superpower? Number 10, Cyclops. While Cyclops might not be as powerful as some of the others on this list, he
Damn
pretty
right.
much perfectly sums up the idea of a hero who has to hold back his power in order to fight. I mean, that's literally what his costume is for, really.
Yeah, I know.
Well, other than that sweet X-Men suit, that is just so we know
visor.
what team
He
he's
has a-
fighting alongside. But when it
I don't know if they're about to break into that, but the visor is one thing, but he also has a thing in his gloves. That's Hi, son. That thing, he has a thing in his gloves. That stupid stance he takes isn't just for posing. It's because he's actually using a control thing for his visor. Waddle, 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 duck walk. Are you turtle heading?
When it comes to his visor, that is straight up being used to better control and restrain his powers, so that he isn't just optic blasting everyone he looks at or comes up against into next week. Additionally, Cyclops doesn't just use his visor, but also uses his gloves to do this. In his gloves are little
Control
buttons that
modules.
Cyclops can basically push to control the visor, allowing him to open it more or less and change the angle at which it will emit his optic blasts. This is also why Cyclops is known as a master of trigonometry. He needs this knowledge so that he can best utilize his optic blasts, knowing exactly how and when to fire them, and with how much intensity in order to achieve whatever the fight calls for. So whether it's a giant full frontal blast or something a little bit more subtle, Cyclops is always prepared for each and every occasion, as long as he has his trig knowledge intact and his visor and his gloves with him. Since the character first debuted, his powers and their immense strength are something that have also been shown as bothering and plaguing this character, with him even believing that Jean could actually never love him because of his uncontrollable optic blasts. How could she ever love me? I have to wear rose quartz glasses all the time. It's not that big of a deal, psych. Just chill. And friends, before we move on to our next spot on this list, if you love what we do here at Top 10 Nerd, why not show us you love us by clicking that like button? Number 9, Starfire. Starfire is a character who is immensely powerful, and
Well,
honestly, we don't talk about her enough on this channel. It's been a minute since we talked about Corey, but let's get into it. The Teen Titans in general are an immensely powerful team, and now that they're no longer teens and are fully grown adults, being known simply as the Titans, they're even more powerful than they once were. Being in control of superpowers as an adult superhero is really, I think, all about knowing when to hold back. Over time, characters have a tendency to only get more powerful and more experienced with age, and Starfire is no exception. In the comics, even pre-Flashpoint Starfire in a fight against Blackfire acknowledges that she is indeed her sister's equal in terms of her power and prowess, saying that the only reason that she has not beaten her sister is because they have never fought as equals, despite being equal to one another. And her sister responds by saying that due to Starfire's caring nature, Corey often holds back, which is basically her weakness. At least, that's how Blackfire sees it.
Yes.
While Blackfire might see this as a weakness, I'm sure Starfire would actually see it as a strength, as it is also what makes her a hero. Sometimes, in order to be a hero, you have to know when to restrain yourself. You know what I mean? Number 8, Gentle. Gentle is such a great mutant hero, one we honestly do not talk enough about. His
I don't
power
know
is
anything
so
about this
great
guy.
that it's believed using it could actually result in him losing his life. As a result, Gentle was given vibranium tattoos, which allow him to better contain and control his powers. His powers grant him augmented strength. Despite his mutant name, Gentle can actually become insanely muscular, increasing in size and mass, and we don't actually know the limits of his powers yet, which is why they're also so dangerous.
Does
Using them
density
is
shift?
also really hard on Nesno's body, which could result in his death. Gentle is a hero who, while also a citizen of Krakoa now, is also known for his Wakandan heritage, being actually part Wakandan and part Russian based on his parents' heritage. Initially, it was believed that using his power also caused him great pain and actually resulted in seizures, but we later learned that this was actually more psychological. The vibranium tattoos were therefore helpful for him in regards to using his powers, but were also helpful in the way that they seemed to help lessen his pain. Gentle was also recently a candidate for the X-Men, and one of the mutants you could vote to have elected to the team. He didn't get chosen, but I honestly hope he does get to join the main team in the future, as he's a really neat and unique hero and character. Number 7, The Flash.
See more about
The
this.
Flash might seem like a weird pick for this list, especially as up to this point we've mostly been focusing on characters who have something physical or mental that forces them to hold back their power set. But with The Flash, it's actually all about how powerful he is. He is, I would say, too powerful, which is the issue, especially in regards to his ability to time travel. While Barry Allen as the Flash has traveled back in time and changed things, only to learn afterwards of how this was kind of an awful mistake, upturning the entire universe as a result of the change he'd made to basically save his mother, Wally West has seemingly learned from his predecessor's mistakes. For that reason, Wally actually prefers not to get involved when it comes to time travel. He knows that to do so could possibly break the universe, and so has a tendency to be more reserved and much more careful when it comes to racing through the time stream. And even when his friend Hunter Zolomon had begged Wally to use his power to help reverse his paralysis by traveling back in time to prevent it, Wally actually refused. This is what prompted Hunter to become the villain known as Zoom.
You're changing something for one thing, and that one thing can change something for everybody.
Not known enough tragedy in his life, as Hunter had. Zoom believed that in order to make Wally as the Flash a better hero, he would actually have to make him suffer. Number 6, Hellstrom. Hellstrom is actually someone who is similar to another character on this list in regards to his heritage. Although the other character I'm comparing him to here is actually not from Marvel, but stay tuned for more on that. Because this point is all about Damon Hellstrom, or Hellstorm, depending on his persona and his mood. Hellstrom is said to be the son of Satan, although it is unknown up to this point if his father is really the true devil or just one of the many demons posing as the devil in the Marvel Universe, including Damon's father, as well as Azazel, who is Nightcrawler's father, and Mephisto, who isn't really known for being a father, but did once have a son named Blackheart. That is a thing that happened, and Blackheart did try to usurp him, so, you know.
Yeah.
Hellstrom, as such, has two different personas within him. One that is inherently more good and heroic, and another that is straight up or on the verge of being evil, more influenced by his father's heritage. Sometimes these two personas are kind of given different names as well. Hellstrom or Hellstorm, depending on which persona he is leaning more towards at the time. Sometimes Hellstrom is actually only spelled with one L, and other times he's used these names to sort of like protect his identity, although they are both super similar, so I don't really fully understand how that's supposed to fool anyone. Hellstrom.
That's actually part of something I read about at one time. It's when you're trying to create a new identity for yourself, a lot of people still use the first letters of their name, their original names, to try and, even though they're creating a new identity, they want to keep to the original identity. So I think that might be something that's going on with him. So the League of Guardians is better. Period. We're not just a team. We're totally family. Because it's me and my ugly ass kids.
Hellstrom has often struggled with unleashing the full force of his power, and sometimes, in fact I would say often, regrets its ties to hell and the darkness that lies within him. Number 5, Shazam. Shazam, or Captain Marvel, as some still refer to him today, is one of the most powerful heroes DC has, and in fact some would argue that when it comes to his fights and contests with Superman, it is he, not Superman, who is often the one who would need to hold back. This is because Shazam's powers come from the gods, and some actually say this is because his powers are kind of magical. The limitless wisdom of Solomon, the strength of Hercules, stamina of Atlas, power and omnipotence of Zeus, courage of Achilles, and speed of Mercury. There is really no limit, or there shouldn't be, to what he can do. And it is because of this sheer power and strength that Shazam often needs to hold back when fighting against his enemies as well. You could also add in the fact that it is Billy Batson's kind heart that often encourages him to hold back against his enemies, preferring to not be so brutal with his enemies or his opponents. I mean, especially if they are his friends or people he looks up to, because, you know, even heroes sometimes fight each other, like in a fight against Supes. At one point, Superman even played host to Captain Marvel and actually marveled at his sheer power. So, you know you're probably going to need to hold back when you're like wowing Superman with your power levels. Number 4, Blue Marvel. If you are powerful enough to knock out
1. My daughter, my younger daughter, Centurion, has powers like Captain Marvel, Shazam. The thing about it is, my family does the stereotypical black thing. Most of us have lightning powers. Yeah, I said it. It's the thing. Look it up. Even though we're all mutants, I'm the genetic anomaly because my powers are, I don't want to say unstable, but I have personal molecular manipulation as opposed to my daughter Centurion. She's got pretty much every power Shazam has, and because she has every power Shazam has, and she's my daughter, and I'm completely fucking biased, I'm going to say she'll whoop the ever piss out of Shazam. You've seen her on this channel before. She's looking at me right now. So is my baby son, Gian. Gian, what are you doing? And you're going to just dance there? Oh, y'all were just waiting on cookies?
I'm Cookie Monster.
Alright. Y'all go play. Now, the thing about me, personally, as I said, personal molecular manipulation, I kind of messed up. Little backstory. Yeah, we're going to do this. We're doing this. I absorb photons. And I swear to God, if you make another Superman reference, I wear the S, but I'm not an alien. I absorb photons, and what I do is I turn my body into a particle accelerator to actually have the photons clash into each other to make a matter-antimatter reaction, because photons are their own antimatter. Yes, I'm geeking out on you. So, basically, I'm a lot like Blue Marvel. Or Captain Atom. I would say it's probably more like Captain Atom. Somewhere between Blue Marvel, Captain Atom, and Molecule Man, with a little bit of Superboy, Superman mixed in. But enough of that. What I do. I'm awesome.
And live to tell the tale, even if he possibly is maybe a less stronger version of the Hulk from the Ultimate Universe, then you probably need to rein in your powers almost all the time. Blue Marvel's powers come from him being a scientist and being forever changed by an experiment gone wrong. Adam Brashear was the project lead on an experimental attempt to manipulate and utilize antimatter. When the negative reactor exploded, it transformed Adam into, in essence, what he was trying to create. He became an antimatter reactor, harnessing antimatter, which basically powered his amazing newfound abilities. Number 3, Superman. Superman is one of the strongest superheroes DC has to offer. He packs a mean punch, and I mean a mean punch. He often holds back, and not just in regards to strength and holding back actual force, but also in terms of his morality. Superman has a very strong moral code. He won't even hit someone in the back if their back is turned to him. That's how passionate he is about fighting fair. He doesn't hit his opponents when they're down, and he doesn't kill, even though he could very easily permanently defeat his opponents by just straight up ending them. This just isn't Superman's style, and honestly, it's what most people love and respect about Superman. To use his power to annihilate his opponents would actually kind of be sinking to their level. In fact, in realities where he has chosen not to hold back, like Injustice, where he brutally murders the Joker in response to him destroying Metropolis, killing his BFF Jimmy Olsen, and manipulating Superman into killing Lois, Clark becomes a straight-up villain and a brutal dictator, which is why he chooses to hold back more often than not in the comics, because he is aware of how power can easily corrupt people. I mean, to be honest, a lot of his villains are people who allow themselves to become corrupted by great power, whether or not they're aware of that. Number 2, Hulk. To say that the Hulk is the strongest there is really not an overstatement. Not only the strongest, but also just one of the most indestructible heroes out there. After all, Hulk is also now immortal, and kind of has been the whole time. And as a result of this, is a character that you do not want to face in a fight. The good news is that Hulk typically doesn't want to kill people, and so he generally does hold back in fights, unless he's going up against someone, you know, that's just about as indestructible as he is. Like, he might not hold back as much when he's fighting someone like the Thing. There are a few reasons that this happens when it comes to Hulk holding back. One, Hulk has actually exhibited he himself has morals. Not all Hulk personas are like this. I mean, look at his alternate version, Maestro from the future. This version of the Hulk is more devoid of morals and is therefore willing to use all of his strength and power to devastating degrees. The other reason Hulk is often holding back actually has to do with the other persona that's in there with him at the time, Bruce Banner. Yeah. It's been alluded to before that Bruce can act at times like the Hulk's conscience, but then again, it's also been suggested that Hulk actually might be Bruce's conscience. So, kind of depends on the story you're reading as to who is the more heroic between those two personas. Number 1, Raven. Raven is another character that basically sums up the idea of a person who has to hold back and really has no choice in that matter. I mean, we've seen what happens when Raven fully lets go, and it's deadly. Raven in general has to hold back her power in regards to letting herself be fueled by emotion, which is why she generally remains extremely detached, which also makes her a great counterbalance to someone like Starfire on the Teen Titans team. While Starfire's issue when it comes to holding back is that she has too much emotion, too much empathy for those around her, Raven often prefers to stay closed off from those emotions, knowing that with them could come great power, but at the risk of easily losing control. This is a huge issue for Raven considering her heritage. Raven is related to the demon Trigon, who is immensely powerful and is a version of Satan in essence in the DC universe. While Trigon is her father, he is also her arch nemesis, which means she has to be careful when it comes to possibly opening herself up to his influence at all, as it can and has in the past turned Raven into an extremely dangerous and powerful supervillain. One that could like literally end worlds, so yeah. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, you stay nerdy, YouTube. Bye!
I guess that's them doing their outro. That's an hour and 18 minutes? Damn. I didn't know that. But I don't care what you say. I can whoop all their asses. If anything, I would think that Raven would be the hardest one for me to do, because I swear to God, that bitch portaled me somewhere, and I got to figure out how to portal back. I prefer to keep my abilities physical. Harmonizing, density shifting, muscle reconfiguring. Simple things. Super speed, super strength, bitch slapping people, and vulnerability. Which I gotta keep on now because I'm a walking goddamn reactor. Yeah, I messed up on that one. Can't turn my powers off or fire will spew from me and melt me from the inside. Makes it great when you want to hug your kids. But for those of you new to the channel, if you like what you saw, hit the like, subscribe button, hit the notification button, and the bell. That lets us over here know at Kingsway Entertainment that you're picking up what we're putting down, and it helps push the YouTube algorithm out to a bigger audience that may not know this channel exists, and we're trying to entertain and make as many people laugh as we can. Also, down in the description below will be links to the merch shop and the books that King Sway has written and published. He's working on publishing more next year, right after the holidays, because I love to spend time with his kids. And he's also putting up more merch in the shop. The shop, his items are comic book and anime based because that's what he loves. That's what we all love. I mean, seriously, we're here. And he's going to be adding things more video game based and, aimed towards Dungeons and Dragons and things to that degree. Also, while trying to bring in more anime and comic book things. But in the meantime, in between time, you gonna catch me with these peace signs. I'm Sentinel. I'm catch you in the next one, if he lets me, because I gotta steal the channel sometimes. And I'm cooler than him, but he won't let me shine. He's a shine blocker, yo. He's a shine blocker.